The morning sunlight barely touched the marble tiles of our kitchen as Diane slid an envelope across the table towards me. Her face was a mask of cold fury, her eyes unreadable. "You should see this," she said, her voice flat. I reached for the envelope with a sense of foreboding. Inside was a photograph of me, kissing a woman I'd never seen before. My stomach twisted into knots. "What is this?" I managed, my voice a whisper. Diane stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the tile. "It's you, isn't it? Cheating on me." Her accusation sliced through the air. "You cheated on me, and I'll take all your money." I stared at her, then back at the photo. The scene was clearly set in an office, the woman's desk cluttered, a calendar visible on the wall. But it couldn't be me. I had no memory of this, none. "Diane, I swear, I don't know what this is. I've never seen her before." "You expect me to believe that?" She scoffed, grabbing her purse and heading towards the door. "I filed for divorce, Jack. You'll hear from my lawyer." As the door slammed shut, leaving me with the damning photograph, panic clawed at my throat. It didn't make sense. The last thing I remembered was the business dinner with Diane and our mutual friend and business partner, Rick. Rick had toasted to a new venture over drinks. I'd felt unusually tired afterward, the evening blurring into darkness. Frantically, I called Rick, hoping for some clarity or at least an alibi. The phone rang several times before he answered, his voice groggy. "Jack? What's up? It's early." "Rick, listen, Diane found a photo. It's supposed to be me kissing another woman. At an office. Does that make any sense to you?" There was a pause, then a low chuckle. "Oh, that? Yeah, I might know something about that." A chill ran down my spine. "What do you mean?" Rick's voice was casual, too casual. "Maybe you were a bit too knocked out that night to remember any fun." My heart raced. "What did you do, Rick?" "Just business, Jack. Survival of the fittest." "You were getting a bit too big, buddy. Had to slow you down." The realization hit me like a freight train. The drink, the sudden fatigue, Rick's toast. It had all been a setup, a heinous plot to take everything from me. Diane and Rick, they were in this together. The photograph, mind you, infidelity, it was all fabricated to destroy me. "No, Rick. I won't let you get away with this," I said, my voice firm despite the shaking. Rick's laughter echoed in my ear as I hung up. I was alone, betrayed by the people I trusted most. But I wasn't defeated. Not yet. I needed evidence, proof of their treachery. I needed a plan. Gathering my wits, I made a decision. First, I'd get in touch with a private investigator. Someone had to see through this deceit. Diane and Rick wanted war? Well, they'd get one. The battle lines were drawn, and I was not going down without a fight. As the city begins to awaken, I rush out into the brisk morning, my mind a whirlwind of strategy and disbelief. I head straight to the cafe where I'm meeting Max, an old college friend turned private investigator. He's someone I can trust, someone who wouldn't judge without knowing the full story. Max is already there, seated in a secluded corner, his eyes scanning the room until they land on me. He stands, his concern palpable. "Jack, you look like hell. What's going on?" I slide into the booth, pushing the incriminating photograph across the table. "I need your help, Maximum." That's me in the photo, but I never cheated on Diane. She set me up, and so has Rick. They're trying to destroy me. Max picks up the photo, studying it with a practiced eye. "This can be staged," he muses, setting the picture down and meeting my gaze. "You think they drugged you?" "I know they did." The last thing I remember was feeling extremely tired after a drink Rick gave me. I explained the fuzzy details of that night, my frustration growing. Max nods, his brain ticking behind sharp eyes. "Okay, we'll need solid proof. I'll start with the basics, checking the place this photo was taken, talking to the woman, and digging into Diane and Rick's finances and communications. We might catch them slipping somewhere. Gratitude floods through me. Thank you, Maximum. I knew I could count on you. Don't thank me yet. This could get dirty, he warns, then stands up, pulling out his phone. Let's get to work. Leaving the cafe, I feel a sliver of hope piercing the dread. The city is bustling around me, people oblivious to the storm in my life. My next stop is the office where I supposedly had the affair. It's a place I've never been before, according to the address Max scribbled down for me. As I approach the building, a sense of surrealism washes over me. The lobby is sleek, modern, the kind of place that screams professionalism. I approach the receptionist, a young woman with bright red hair and a cautious smile. Hi, I need to speak with someone regarding a potential security issue that may have involved me, I say, trying to sound calm and authoritative. The receptionist raises an eyebrow but nods, picking up the phone. Moments later, a man in a crisp suit approaches. Mr. Sullivan? I'm Ted, the security manager. How can I assist you? I explain my situation in vague terms, watching Ted's expression shift from polite interest to concern. Mr. Sullivan, this is quite serious. Let's check the security footage from that date. We move to his office, a room filled with monitors and controls. Ted pulls up the footage, and we scan through hours of video. Finally, we spot me, clearly drugged, being led into a room by the woman from the photo. There, I point, my heart hammering. I wasn't there willingly. Can you print that frame for me? Of course, Ted replies, his fingers flying over the keyboard. Armed with a printout of the footage, I feel a piece of the puzzle click into place. Thank you, Ted. This is going to help me clear my name. As I leave the building, the weight of the world is still on my shoulders, but now I have something solid to fight with. Diane and Rick have no idea what's coming for them. I won't just clear my name, I'll expose their deceit for all to see. The afternoon sun casts long shadows over the city as I drive to meet Sarah, the woman from the photograph. Max found her address through some quick digging, and surprisingly, she agreed to meet me without much resistance. It's a testament to how desperate I am that I'm hoping she will help me, the man she supposedly conspired against. Sarah lives in a modest apartment on the west side of town. The building is older, the paint peeling slightly around the windows. I knock on her door, my heart pounding in my chest. Moments later, it swings open, revealing Sarah. She's younger than I expected, her face marked by a nervous apprehension. Mr. Sullivan? Please, come in, she says, stepping aside. I enter, taking in the sparse furnishings, the air of someone who doesn't plan to stay long in one place. Thank you for agreeing to talk to me, Sarah. I think you know why I'm here. She nods, sitting down across from me on a threadbare couch. I know what this looks like, but I was told it was just a prank. I didn't know they were going to use it to hurt you. Her voice trembles, and I sense her fear. Who told you it was a prank? It was Rick, she confesses. He said it was just a joke, that you were in on it. Anger flares within me, but I keep my voice steady. I wasn't in on it, Sarah. They drugged me. They're trying to take everything from me. I need to know everything you were told. Sarah bites her lip, then speaks slowly, recounting how Rick approached her through a mutual friend, offering her a sum of money to act out the scene. She was a struggling actress, the offer too good to refuse. Do you have any proof of your communication with Rick? Texts, emails, anything? I ask, my mind racing with the implications of her story. She hesitates, then nods, getting up to retrieve her phone. She hands it to me, and I quickly scroll through the messages between her and Rick. It's all there, the setup, the meeting times, even a message reassuring her it was all a joke. This is good, Sarah. This could help me prove it was a setup, I say, handing back her phone. Would you be willing to testify to this if needed? She looks terrified, but then determination hardens her features. Yes. I don't want to be part of something so cruel. I thank her and leave, feeling a mix of relief and increasing tension. Now armed with evidence and a witness, I know the confrontation with Diane and Rick is inevitable. Driving back to my now empty home, I call Maximum. I got something. Maximum texts between Sarah and Rick. She's also willing to testify. Great work, Jack. Let's meet first thing tomorrow to plan our next move. It's time to bring this to a close, Max replies, his voice grim but determined. I hang up, looking over the city lights starting to twinkle on as dusk falls. Diane and Rick's betrayal runs deep, but I'm close to unraveling their deceit. They thought they could control the game, but I'm changing the rules. Tomorrow, the real battle begins. The early morning light casts a pale glow over the city as I make my way to the courthouse. Today is the day. Today, everything either comes together or falls apart. I clutch the folder containing Sarah's messages and the security footage printout tightly under my arm as I push through the heavy doors. Inside, the courthouse buzzes with the sound of muffled conversations and echoing footsteps. Max meets me at the entrance, a determined look on his face. Ready for this? He asks. As I'll ever be, I reply, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. We make our way to the courtroom, where Diane and Rick are already seated, looking confident. Seeing them together, whispering and laughing softly, fuels my resolve. I won't let them win. The judge enters, and silence descends. We are here today to address the allegations against Mr. Jack Sullivan concerning financial misconduct, as filed by Mrs. Diane Sullivan. The judge begins, his voice echoing slightly in the high-sealed room. Mr. Sullivan, how do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor, I state, standing. And I have evidence to prove that the accusations against me are not only false, but fabricated as part of a conspiracy by the plaintiff and her accomplice. The courtroom stirs, murmurs rippling through the air. Diane's lawyer rises, his face a mask of professional skepticism. Your Honor, these are serious accusations. We demand proof. Max hands me the folder, and I approach the bench, laying out the printouts and Sarah's sworn affidavit. The judge examines them, his brow furrowing. We will recess for 1 hour while I review these documents, he declares. As the courtroom empties, Diane corners me, her expression a mix of fury and fear. You think you can get away with this, Jack? Even if you win today, you'll lose everything. I'd rather lose everything than live a lie, I shoot back. The recess drags on, every minute stretching longer than the last. Finally, we're called back in. The judge's expression is inscrutable as he addresses the room. After reviewing the evidence presented, it's clear that Mr. Sullivan was indeed set up as he claims. Diane's face pales, and Rick shifts uncomfortably in his seat. But then the judge continues, however, there is also evidence of Mr. Sullivan's previous financial improprieties unrelated to this case. The room spins. I hadn't seen this coming. Max grips my arm, a silent support. Given the circumstances, the court dismisses the charges related to the fraudulent photo setup. However, Mr. Sullivan, you will be under investigation for these other matters. As the judge delivers his verdict, I feel a mix of relief and impending doom. But before the judge can adjourn, the courtroom doors burst open. A woman, no, not just any woman, but the judge's assistant, rushes in, a sheaf of papers in her hand. Your Honor, we've received a tip about a bribery attempt related to this case, she announces breathlessly. All eyes turn to Rick, whose face drains of color. This has nothing to do with me, he stammers, standing up. Max's hand tightens on my arm. Wait for it, he murmurs. The assistant hands the papers to the judge, who reads them quickly. It appears Mr. Rick Lawson has attempted to influence the outcome of this trial. He will be taken into custody immediately. He will be taken into custody and led away. Diane sinks into her seat, her scheme crumbling around her. I turn to leave, feeling the weight of the world lift off my shoulders. Despite the new challenges ahead, today I stood up for the truth, and it paid off. Outside, the sun breaks through the clouds, casting light on a new path forward. I'm free from the conspiracy, but not from the consequences of my past. It's time to face them head-on, with integrity. This chapter of my life is closed, but a new one is just beginning.